we all are here because we want to make that little bit of difference. That's what we want. We envision that progress, and we work so hard to make it happen.
Cities need guidance and support on how to attract private capital, investors, funds, banks, donors. They need to make their projects bankable.
Cities cannot go about this alone. Dedicated support for national and regional level is necessary in terms of capacity building, regulation and funding.
Over 100 cities are now implementing climate city contracts. These cities innovate how we design, implement, govern, and finance climate action.
The city's mission has achieved impressive progress in a short period of time, creating a Europe-wide movement. And with increased political and funding support, the mission can deliver so much more.
We impact on people's life. Hands-on pilots, real money, real streets, real timelines, by and for the citizen.
Good morning, everybody, here in beautiful, sunny Torino. And welcome to the 5th EU Cities Mission Conference, the annual gathering of a growing family of European cities that are very diverse in where they are and what their challenges are, but are united in one mission, making their cities climate neutral and climate change resilient by 2030. You can clap for that because it's a wonderful occurrence. 2030 is just a few years away, and the climate isn't getting colder, it's getting hotter. Not only physically, it's a kind of a heat wave here in Torino, very pressing, but also the political climate is not really cooling down. The urgency for climate resilience, is it still as urgent as it was? And is the funding still available in times when there are so many other pressing issues that also require a lot of public funding? So the challenges are not lesser than they were last year. The timeline is getting closer, but thankfully the enthusiasm hasn't waned. So this conference is important. It's important to discuss with each other the challenges and how we can overcome them. But it's also a moment to celebrate all these cities together that have done so much incredible work. Also because now we're moving from the planning phase into the implementation phase. After years of sitting behind the drawing boards, in our cities we now see more and more tangible results. That is something we can celebrate. And thirdly, to learn from each other. It's difficult to reinvent the wheel, and it's so much easier if there are other cities like you that can inspire you, that can give them your best practices, that can give you their worst practices and give you some advice how to not make the same mistakes. Together we are stronger, and we might make it to 2030. My name is Roger Elshout. I'll be your moderator for the coming 2 days, and my job is to make sure this conference is as productive as possible. Can I see who we have in the room? Who is a Cities Mission city? Oh, that is a lot. Who is not yet a Cities Mission city, but is one that's really aspiring to or warming up to it? An enthusiastic city. Ooh, that's also quite some hands. Who is a policymaker on the national, the regional, or the EU level? Yes, oh, they're very much in the front. We're going to need you very much for the first discussion. Who is of science, a think tank, or an advocate, or the NGO world? Yes, you are part of the ecosystem. We need you very much. And then, who is a financer really looking to make some money and hand out some money this time, or able to help us navigate the world of finance? You are going to be very popular here because finance might be the thing we're going to talk about. So you'll be offered a lot of espressos during the coffee break. Yes. It's a very diverse group. Who is new? Who is this first conference who just entered this beautiful Cities Mission world? Seeing quite some hands. Who has done this already for 3 or 4 years? Who is slightly in it? Yeah. And who is seasoned? Who has been this time for like more than 5 years? Okay, we have a very nice combination of a little bit of everything. And we're going to need all of you, because together we need to find answers to the challenges we have. We're slightly too big group for a plenary discussion, so please take out your phone, your smartwatch, your smart goggles, your smart mainframe fridge, whatever you took. And can we switch to the voting system? Yeah, oh, we already, some people of you found it, and I'm going to use my remote to switch back. Oh, I have to go out of the way. Take a picture of this QR code there also on the side. If your camera is not good enough or you're too far in the back, go to menti.com and enter the code 68468531. And the first question we have for you is, what is the success from last year that you're really proud of? Someone is leading the live act, less social media, ooh, getting here, that's also good. Higher oil and gas prices, yeah, it's a crisis, but never waste a good crisis. There's opportunity in every crisis. Implemented school streets, finishing the first fossil-free neighborhood project, and someone is just happy that they're living. That's also, it starts with ambition. Okay, oh, fall of the government in Hungary. We have Hungary here, yeah. And someone says, I never took a flight. Okay, so more and more things are coming in. Good to hear all your successes, and yes, they deserve to be celebrated. We also have with us Carlotta, our graphic note taker. Can we switch to her? Carlotta will be taking notes during every session, the plenary ones, but also some non-plenary ones. And hopefully she will make, now it's still an empty board, but at the end of the day, and especially on Friday afternoon, she will have a nice visual summary of what's been discussed here. Thank you so much, Carlotta. We go to the next question in Mentimeter. That is the question, what is the key to successful implementation? Because now we're moving from planning phase to implementation phase. What is the key to successful implementation? Can I see some hands? Who says now we're in implementation, it's easier than it was in the planning phase? Okay, who says it's harder? Ooh, okay, yeah, the implementation phase is where it gets fun because you see results. It also where it gets difficult. Reality rarely sticks to the theory. That's a very bad thing of reality. My professor of public administration told me, we shouldn't ask ourselves why sometimes public policies fail. We should ask ourselves why they sometimes work, because it's such a difficult thing to do. It's a miracle they sometimes work. And here we see some of the keys to success: collaboration, communication, governance, but also finance and funding and euros. So money might be a good thing. Political commitment, capacity, political will, partnerships, and good preparation. Okay, so here is a nice sheet of all the keys to success. Well, in the tracks, we are going to deep dive more into innovative finance, deploying solutions, strategic engagement, and really we hope here to really do a deep dive, because the easy solutions we found, let's talk about the challenges. We'll have more questions to you during this discussion. First, to welcome you here, can I get a big round of applause for the Minister of Environment of Italy, Gilberto Piletto Frattini.
Buongiorno, saluto i delegati delle Mission City europee e tutti i partecipanti con un grande benvenuto a Torino, benvenuti a Torino in Italia. Per la vostra presenza e i vostri sforzi sono un esempio per tutti noi. La missione per le città climaticamente neutrali e intelligenti è un'iniziativa molto virtuosa perché aiuta a superare le barriere culturali, favorisce il dialogo e produce risultati importanti, concreti. L'Italia crede fortemente in questo percorso e con Torino, poi Bergamo, Bologna, Firenze, Milano, Padova, Parma, Prato e Roma è determinata a proseguire con impegno per sostenere e facilitare il cambiamento. Sappiamo che le città, a causa della popolazione, nel numero di edifici e infrastrutture, inquinano più di altre realtà. Queste caratteristiche allo stesso tempo le rendono più esposte anche alle criticità climatiche. I maggiori centri urbani hanno un ruolo decisivo per quelli che sono gli obiettivi nazionali di decarbonizzazione e vanno pertanto aiutati, accompagnati nel ripensare il loro rapporto con l'ambiente, puntando su una gestione corretta del suolo, del verde e opere pubbliche che siano sostenibili. In questo quadro la collaborazione fra livelli centrali e locali di governo è essenziale, fondamentale. Solo il coordinamento fa nascere strategie e interventi che possano essere efficaci e siano modellati su quelle che sono poi le esigenze dei diversi territori. L'Italia, oltre ad accompagnare il cammino delle nostre città coinvolte nella missione europea, è impegnata a tutto campo nella promozione di quelle che sono le politiche che guardano la transizione e la sostenibilità. Lo facciamo sostenendo l'efficientamento energetico, la mobilità sostenibile, l'economia circolare, in cui abbiamo un ruolo importante, la produzione di energia da fonti rinnovabili, e così come la difesa del suolo e la mitigazione dei rischi idrogeologici. È decisiva, su questo percorso diventa decisiva la tecnologia. Un esempio è il SIM, lo strumento basato sul supercalcolo e intelligenza artificiale, che abbiamo reso disponibile ai soggetti pubblici per poter affrontare quelle che sono le sfide climatiche. Sostenibilità e innovazione sono allora le parole chiave che possono aiutarci in questo cammino, che è un cammino quotidiano, un cammino che deve coinvolgere sempre più i cittadini, renderli consapevoli, con le cittadine, le imprese, gli enti di governo a tutti i livelli. Sono certo che in queste giornate saprete trovare l'equilibrio, la sintonia giusta e nuove forme di dialogo, rafforzando quindi l'impegno per le città, per le nostre città e per l'ambiente. A voi tutti, buon lavoro.
If your Italian was slightly rusty, the minister talked about how important it is to have a good collaboration between the several levels, because change can only happen if the local level is involved, because that's what are the hubs where change happens. And you need to overcome cultural barriers for that. And also you need to make the best combination of tradition like agriculture and the green things we used to have in our societies with innovation, AI and other innovations, make them come together. And cities, they are the places, they are the hubs where this can happen if you have the will for it. So collaboration is key. We're going to talk much more about that in our panel on multi-level governance. We are in a very special place. Just 100 years ago, there were trains all around here. This was the hub where trains were repaired, but then in the 1990s, it became an empty place, a big dark hole in the city, and look where we are now. So this is a place that is really symbolizing the possibilities of transformation. Here to explain to us how beautiful and how special this place is, and welcome us to this beautiful building, is Claudio Albanese.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I won't waste a lot of your time since you have a very, very busy program today. I'm Claudio Albanese. I'm Vice President of Fondazione CEST. We basically provided you with this wonderful box you're all contained in today. This is the place you're in, as Roger was already saying, is paramount of how innovation, transformation are taken very seriously in this city. This place was first, it was a place for maintenance and repairing of trains in the last century and at the end of 19th century. And then for many years, it has been a huge ghost building in the heart of the city. The city was completely different from what it is now. The railway station just behind us was a small one. Now it's a very, very important one. But the city and the stakeholders of the city were brave enough, and Fondazione CEST was one of them, owning this place, to take the challenge and see what this place could have been at the service of the community for the future. And here we are in a place that hosts dozens of startups and scale-ups, which we support. Art exhibition, and basically it aspired to be the crossroads for technology and arts. Fondazione CEST also has a program to support startups and scale-ups called Impact Deal. We have been supporting more than 140 startups every year. Our plans go on with Politecnico di Torino, who is a major stakeholder also for this conference. As you know, we are working with the city and with OGR in financially supporting what will be a renewable energy community to reduce emission and to create shared environment and social benefits. And this not only requires money, as you all know, it requires also the will. So where there's a will to cooperate with stakeholders, I think that everything is possible. And this is exactly why events like City Missions Conference matter for us, and I believe for you all seeing this very, very full audience today. I think you are representative of cities and other stakeholders who are really taking the challenge to change things. We all know we are running out of time, but we are witnessing here that there's a community in Europe which really thinks that things can change. So I will thank you all for being here. I will hope that this event will bring new ideas, new challenges, and also new will to cooperate together. Welcome here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Albanese. For me, it is the second time that I visit Torino, and the second time it is in a heat wave. I came here by bicycle through the Lange. Yesterday I made a descent through the city, and I could feel the heat becoming more because the city is in a lower place. Like, oh, this is going to be warm. But the moment I crossed the bridge, it wasn't so bad. The city was actually kind of cool. And that is not a coincidence. That is a part of good design of a city that makes Torino very special.
Hi, the spreader is for you. You just arrived, you're very, very small, and maybe the world will feel huge to you. I'm bigger. I'm already 12. I wanted to tell you a few things about this place, so maybe you feel a bit more at home. A lot of things happen here. The city is never still. It's always moving forward. Maybe one day you'll feel it chasing something too, trying to reach your dream, even when it feels hard. there's a lot of green here. Parks with really tall trees, rivers, and hills where you can look at everything from above and see how big it all is. If you look closer, you'll notice more things. There are people working, trying their best for our future. Because the city is changing and getting ready to make space for those who arrive, just like you. The city is called Torino, and it's really special. It's a place that looks ahead but doesn't leave people behind. A place where you can put down roots, where we can take care of each other, to live, grow, and dream together.
Wow, how beautiful is it to be here and to welcome us to this beautiful city is someone who used to be a professor of urban economics and someone who in his new role really positioned Torino as an innovative European city and a strong, sustainable urban development. Here's the mayor of Torino, Stefano Lorusso.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Torino. It's a great honor for our city to host this important moment of dialogue, cooperation, and shared responsibility among European cities. Today, we are speaking about climate neutrality, but in reality, we are speaking about something even bigger. We are speaking about the kind of Europe we want to build. Because climate change is a defining challenge for the future of our societies, our economies, our democracies, and our communities. It is a question of social justice, public health, energy security, economic resilience, and generational responsibility. And cities stand exactly at the center of this challenge. Cities are where emissions are produced. Cities are where inequalities become visible. Cities are where people experience heat waves, floods, pollution, and energy poverty. But cities are also where innovation happens fastest, where institutions are close to the citizen, and where change can become concrete. This is why the European Mission for Climate Neutral and Smart Cities is such an important political project, because it transforms climate ambition into a shared public commitment, a real pact between European institutions, local governments, businesses, universities, communities, and citizens. A pact based on responsibility, based on trust, based on measurable action. And this is exactly the meaning of the Climate City Contract. For Torino, the Climate City Contract is a strategic alliance for the future of the city. It's a commitment that connects public institutions with private actors, scientific knowledge with social participation, environmental goals with economic transformation. It creates accountability and direction, and most importantly, it creates a shared vision. In Torino, this vision is already taking shape through concrete climate actions across the city. Today, in a rapidly changing international context, this work becomes even more important. We are living in a time marked by geopolitical tensions, economic uncertainty, social fears, and growing polarization. Public debate is continuously reorganizing priorities around emergencies and short-term pressures. And in many discussions, climate change seems to have moved into the background. Yet the climate transition remains one of the central questions shaping the future of Europe. And this is exactly why gatherings like this one matters so much. Because while the world accelerates around conflict and fragmentation, Europe still has the responsibility to invest in long-term public goods, in the future, in the sustainability, in the cooperation, in the next generations. The climate transition asks us a profound political question. Can Europe still act together around common values? I believe that the answer is yes. And I believe cities are demonstrating it every day. When cities collaborate across borders, share knowledge, exchange solutions, and support each other, Europe becomes more than an institution. It becomes a community of destiny, a living project built through solidarity, pragmatism, and shared responsibility. This network, our network of mission cities, shows that cooperation is stronger than isolation, that innovation grows faster when knowledge circulates, and climate neutrality can become a driver for better public transport, cleaner air, affordable energy, urban regeneration, and stronger social cohesion. In other words, climate challenge is also a democratic challenge. It is about improving everyday life for people, and there is another reason why this work matters deeply. Because future generations are already watching us. Young people today are asking institutions a very simple question. Are you capable of thinking beyond the next election, beyond the next crisis, beyond the next headline? These Mission Cities programs give us the opportunity to answer the question with a concrete action. And Torino wants to contribute fully to this European effort, with humility, because we know the scale of the challenge, but also with determination, because we know that transformation becomes possible when institutions, communities, science, and citizens move together. This is why today is important, not only because we discuss projects and targets, but because we are building trust between cities, trust between generations, trust in Europe's capacity to shape the future. And perhaps this is the deepest meaning of the climate neutrality, the capacity to imagine a future together and to start building it now. So welcome to Torino, a city of industry and innovation, a city of work, culture, science, and solidarity. A city that believes Europe grows stronger when cities work together with courage and vision. Welcome to Torino, a city that looks to the future with passion, responsibility, and hope. Thank you very much, and enjoy your day.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I think it's beautifully said that the climate crisis should not compete with other challenges for political attention, but climate action should be the answer and the driving force to answer a lot of these challenges together. This year, the theme of the conference is Delivering Europe's Urban Climate Transition. To explain what it means and what is expected of you in this conference and what we hope to get out of it is the Deputy Director General of DG Environment, one of the most passionate advocates and driving force behind the success of the missions, and most of all, the city's mission manager, Patrick Child.
Well, good morning, everyone. Mayor Lorusso, mayors, regional representatives, colleagues, and partners. It's a huge pleasure for me to welcome you to Torino for this, the city's mission conference of 2026. And let me start by warmly thanking the city of Torino, a wonderful city, for the welcome that you have shown to us, and also to our hosts, OGR, Torino, NetZeroCities, and everyone who has contributed to the preparation of this important conference. Torino is a powerful symbol of what Europe's transition is all about. A city with a strong industrial heritage that is reinventing itself through innovation, sustainability, and resilience. And that brings me to my first message today. Cities are where Europe's transition becomes real. European climate and environment policies directly and positively impact the lives of our citizens. The quality of the air they breathe, the transport they use, the energy they consume, but also the parks and the public spaces that they enjoy. And it's why cities are at the center of Europe's climate and environmental transition. And for those of us who are distracted by wider events in the world, and indeed we are living through a very challenging geopolitical context, we only have to step outside and feel the tropical heat of the last week of May to understand the continuing urgency of the work that we are doing to address the climate challenge. And I'm really encouraged to see that over the past years, cities participating in the mission have shown amazing leadership, mobilizing cities around and citizens around ambitious climate city contracts, attracting new investors and building local partnerships. I remember when I was last in Torino a few years ago in this same magnificent space, I participated in a workshop organized by NetZeroCities for all of the Italian cities in the mission. And they were scratching their heads and wondering, what to put in their climate city contracts. And what amazing progress we have made since then. Cities have now shown collectively that climate neutrality is both an environmental necessity and also a positive agenda for competitiveness, innovation, energy security, and the quality of life. And so now, as with the mission, we enter a new phase. We move from ambition and planning into implementation and delivery. Climate city contracts are becoming delivering bankable projects, investments and transformation in our communities. And that brings me to my second message. Cities clearly cannot deliver this transformation alone. And that's why I think that the title of this plenary session, All Hands on Deck, is so poignant and important. Climate neutrality requires cooperation across every level, as the Minister underlined in his inspiring remarks a few moments ago. Cities, regions, national governments, European institutions, industry, finance, and civil society. And because implementation is not only urgent, but also very complicated, cities, as we know, are facing budgetary pressures, social challenges, costs of the energy transition, and geopolitical uncertainty. At the same time, they need to maintain citizens' trust and boost economic competitiveness. And yet, given these pressures, cities continue to lead on our climate agenda with pragmatism and determination. The mission is a beacon of hope for our citizens in these troubling times. But it's also why inclusive multilateral governance is so important, because the success of the mission depends on our collective ability to align regulation, investment, innovation with public support. And this brings me to my third and final message, that this conference is a place for practical cooperation and shared solutions. I really remember the spirit that we had last year in Vilnius, where the real richness of the conference, the value added, was the opportunity for us all to get together, exchange ideas, compare notes, and best practice. And I'm really hoping that we will capture and even surpass that spirit of collective collaboration here in Torino in the next 2 days. We're looking forward to rich exchanges about the challenges ahead, how to finance implementation, how to accelerate projects, and how to simplify delivery. And above all, how to ensure that the transition remains fair and inclusive. Europe's cities are laboratories for innovation and problem solving. What matters now is our ability to learn from one another and build lasting partnerships, because no city can do what we want to do alone. But together, cities across Europe are becoming a powerful driving force for Europe's future. So let me conclude. Europe's climate transition will ultimately succeed or fail in its cities and communities. And looking around this wonderful room to all of you today, I believe we have every reason to be optimistic. Thank you all very much for coming, and thank you for what I'm sure is going to be an inspiring, enriching, and extremely positive conference here in Torino. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Child. We'll be seeing you more in the second plenary later today, where to add some to the positivity, you can hand out some beautiful awards. Let's discuss multi-level governance, because every speaker so far has said it. Cities are crucial, but cities can't do it alone. You need to have a good collaboration with the region, with the national level and the European level. What is the key to success for that? Well, that's what we're going to find out in our last panel. Can we switch to the voting system? What is the key to success? We have to go to the next slide, please. What is the key to success of successful multi-level governance? What is the key? What makes multi-level governance work? That is what we're going to figure out. Oh, trust, that's the first one. Well, while the answers are coming in, I'm going to ask forward our speakers, Stefania Crotta, Attila Peterfi, Elisa Riviera, and Paolo Ferrao. Good morning, find yourself a seat. Good morning. Good morning. I'm going to go a little bit forward so I can see you. Attila Peterfi, you are the mayor of Pécs, a beautiful city in Hungary. What does Pécs look like?
Thank you very much. Greetings from Hungary, from Pécs. Pécs, yeah, let me talk about just some sentences about Pécs. Pécs is a middle-sized university city in the southern part of Hungary with a population of 140,000 and with a history of more than 2,000 years. And this city is rich. I mean, the cultural heritage of Pécs is really, I would say, rich and colorful. For example, we have several UNESCO World Heritage sites in the city, and we were, as we talked about, Pécs was the European Capital of Culture in 2010. But besides this culture background, we needed to face, the Pécs had to face a really serious economic and social crisis when suddenly in the early 2000s, the heavy industry collapsed in the city. And that's why we have chosen absolutely new direction, sustainable, green, and innovative urban development. That's why I'm here. That's why we are here with my colleagues.
Sounds very much like Torino also, yeah.
Thank you.
What is something that, if you have to pick one thing, what is something that you're super proud of that you've achieved?
I would say we managed to transform our climate neutrality objectives into a meaningful citywide cooperation, which is the basic of the basics. In the name of the cities, I can talk about this, I would say, result, because without cooperation, local cooperation, we are absolutely failed. So I would say this is the very first success.
Very beautiful. I think we've all seen the news the last weeks, the big political shift in Hungary national politics. What is that going to mean for your mission?
I'm quite optimistic at the moment. It was not the case, for example, in the past 16 years in Hungary, because many Hungarian cities could feel a special treatment from the Hungarian central government, which was not so supportive. And what I could feel that the cities were not the partners of the previous former central government. But now I'm quite optimistic, because what I can feel, what I can sense is the opposite from the new government side. So what I can feel is current openness from the central government, and I can, after just some, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I could feel a real demand for supporting us, and it's important.
That's important. Very beautiful. You got applause for that, yes. Elisa Ribiera, you're the Director General of the Ministry of Science, Innovation and Universities in Spain. If there's one you have a national program, it's called, I hope I pronounce it correctly, CEST, with capital ES 2030, to support cities in their EU mission. What is the biggest success, you would say, of that program?
So, hello, good morning, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here to share this roundtable. If I can say one thing, but I have to say 3 things I'm proud of. I can?
Yeah, do it very quickly.
Yeah, very quickly. What I'm proud of is I'm proud of my cities. I think that they made strong and they leader really this transition. I'm really proud of this structure and this platform that you have said, the CTS platform, that has overcome the political cycles, that has forced us to collaborate, to overcome this kind of silos between the different levels of the administration, but even within the same level of the administration, because it's also very complicated sometimes to have this kind of collaboration within even the different ministries, industry, urban agenda, ecological transition, innovation and science, they are all necessary. And also because this structure has forced to collaborate between science to get out of their ivory tower, also with innovation, private sector financing. So this structure, this platform has itself a way of doing the things on a different way. That is the thing that we need. At the third time, we are very proud of this network of European cities that at the end is a network of friends. And I think that this is one of the main achievements of this mission.
You say it stretches over political cycles. We've seen in Hungary a big turnaround, but we see it in many places in Europe. Governments swing from one side to the other faster and faster. And if you're friends with the one government, you're the enemy of the other. And where cities say, we need a long-term perspective, we need stability of policies, because flip-flop policies, we can't work with that. How does this program ensure that you get rid of this flip-flop politics?
So I think that it is a very concrete success of this mission, and it's this level, the mission level, in the sense that when we had this kind of political changes, this level was already in place. And this platform and this CDS platform was already in place. So nobody wanted to go out of this platform. Nobody wanted to say, I'm out of this contract. So I think that the instrument, the tools that we have given to the cities, and the way that we have worked between the state, the European Union, with the cities, because I mean, climate change is about territory, it's about the impact, it's about extreme weather events, it's about how we help territories to overcome those challenges without making the things from the top to the territory, but on the other side, bottom up.
Keeping citizens safe from climate crisis shouldn't be a political issue. That's very important. Stefania Crotta, you're the Director General of the Ministry for Environment and Energy Security in Italy. You have a very successful program where you have 9 cities together with a 12 million euro fund to support also their mission. What is the key to the success between the local government and the national government?
Good morning. Thank you to invite me. It's a pleasure to be there with you.
You have to talk a bit like a rapper, yeah.
I think the cooperation is the key success of our initiatives. I worked in the past in the regional level government, and I think it's important to work together to reach our goal. I think the significant achievement in this project is to translate European ambition into concrete action. We support the 9 cities with 11.8 million euro, and we try to organize a multi-level and intersectoral governance with them. And it's important for us to learn from the local level, to understand their needs, and to match our rules, our founding rules with their needs. It's a big success because we start at the end of 2025 with this project, and today we have approved all the projects from the 9 cities, and we can start with negotiate. We sign the agreement with them to transfer the money to have the implementation of their programs.
For us as an outsider, Italian governance look like a governmental spaghetti. There is cities, there's regions, there is metropolitan regions, but somehow it works. What is the secret to make it work?
I think the secret is trust each other and collaborate each other without top-down initiatives and without control. But with common responsibilities in the future of next generation. And I think we trust that the plan of our cities are concrete and can be the signal for the transition, climate and energy transition.
But that's a different role to balance, because sometimes you have to be the supporter of cities and just say, what you want, we facilitate you. And sometimes you have to be the captain on the ship and say, come on, people, we go that way. How do you balance these two roles?
I think with the multi-level governance that we implement, it's possible to equilibrate the rule. And I think national government can give a common rule, and the rule is not fixed. They can move because it depends on the change, the rapidly change that we live together. So I think it's not a problem. The key of success is know each other and work together without a rigid scheme.
Yeah. Like good spaghetti is al dente, firm enough to stay on the fork, but flexible enough to adapt.
Exactly.
Yes. Paolo Ferraro, you're the chair of the mission board. When you became the chair this year, you said, my main priority will be to turn existing plans into real investment, into concrete projects. What is the multi-level governance challenge for that?
Well, the multi-level governance has been demonstrated here, and certainly depends on cooperation between the different levels of government and administration, local, regional. And it is very important to share the best examples, I believe, and eventually I will provide you an example. So we had already the example of Spain, the CEST, viable cities were pioneers. And then eventually I can share with you the example of what is happening in Portugal. So in Portugal, 20 cities applied to the European mission, and 3 got awarded, Porto, Lisboa, and Guimarães. But then they decided not to leave anyone behind, and then the 20 cities got together and created a platform to work and to cooperate. So this platform is called Cidades pelo Clima, Cities for Climate, and brings not only cities, but regions. And of course, as you asked before, so what is the secret ingredient to deal with different governments? Well, one of the secret ingredients is that, of course, political situation in the cities is diverse. Sometimes some cities align with the current government, and the next time other cities will align with other governments. So this is one of the key ingredients. So it is that having cities in a bottom-up movement, for sure, you get much stronger when we deal with the government. And also, it is important that you take other stakeholders. Say, for example, in the mission, so in the platform in Portugal, Cities for Climate, cities decided to be supported by the university. So there is a research center in which I serve, so I'm a professor by profession. And what we do is that we prepare tools for the cities. For example, digital twins, as here in Torino. We prepare a software, for example, that calculates the greenhouse gas emission per different sectors in the over 350 municipalities in Portugal. And with this, we develop groups with them in different topics like energy, buildings, mobility, carbon capture, and we work with the city staff. So in specific projects, so we bring together technical aspects and the application. And I think this is what makes the secret ingredient. So to have really cities, regions, and all of us pushing to the same side. If we do that, we have impact on the government. And of course, for example, there we also are supported directly by the government. And we are discussing now a national label in Portugal. So agreed with the Minister for the Environment. And the idea is really to award this label in different levels. So we will call it climate passport. But
it makes sense to have also a national labeling system and a national support system. There's a risk now cities have to adhere to the European standards and the national, and they might get confused. How do you make sure they strengthen each other and not compete each other?
It's very easy. We adopt the same criteria. So that's why the mission board works every day. So to make sure that we cross-cut with the same criteria. We are supported by the European Union, the Inner Horizon project, the 3 mission cities in Portugal, developing a system to assess the progress. And you see, there is something very important in this process of the mission label. So the only difference is that we will have different demanding grades, 3 grades, and then we call it the climate passport. And if a city goes into level 1, it gets 1 stamp. If it goes in level 2, it gets 2 stamps. This is a voluntary process. You want to support the cities, and you want to leave no one behind.
Okay, leave no one behind. Well, can we go back to the voting system and see some of the suggestions that we had? What are the key to multilevel communication, trust, commitment? Those are are those the key?
Which?
Communication, commitment, trust.
Trust.
Yeah.
Trust, collaboration, and being part of the same structure, being part of the same project, being part of the same dream. And I think that, as we have said, this is the way of doing the things. And I think that when we are talking about the mission is the instrument, but this is the way that the cities has the opportunity to talk to the European Commission, to talk to national governments. Sometimes we are quite far. We don't want to, but sometimes you are in Madrid, you are in Brussels, and you feel that far, and they feel that we are so far. This is the way to communicate to them. This is the way to understand their needs, and this is the way to co-create their policies.
This is also, it's a special time in Europe because the new budget is being negotiated.
Yeah. That is a trending topic.
There are a lot of demands and a lot of important issues that require money, where at the same time member states are not really keen on paying more. How can cities and governments team up together and make sure that this is not being forgotten in the new budget?
Yeah, I think that the mission is at a crossroads, really. And we are now in a very crucial moment. We are defining the future financing schemes for the mission. And sometimes I feel that there is a kind of disconnection between this technical level or these amazing projects and network cities and their national representatives and their highest political representatives at the fora where these kind of things are being decided. So I think that the mission has to be supported at the very highest level, political level. They have to be supported with all the financial means that we have at national level, but also at European level with the different ways, because we have science and innovation through Horizon Europe. We have the Future European Competitiveness Fund and the cohesion policy. But we need all of this.
What would you advise cities? Lobby their national governments for support, or skip the national governments, go to Brussels together and demonstrate?
Who I am? I'm a national government. So I have to say, and I think it's the best way because I'm convinced, that they have to come with us. But for this, national governments has to be open, they have to be hearing what are the demands, the concerns, and they have to go with them, and they have to hear them. But at the end, those meetings are at the national level and European level with national representatives, but we need them. And this kind of communication has to be fluent, has to be direct, and we have to have this kind of transmission of information.
Major Petterfi, do you agree?
Almost. I would say, in my ideal world, I would say the national representative should represent all the cities, all the settlements, should be. Maybe the ideal solution would be just to come to Brussels together. I mean, the national representatives plus, I would say, one kind of associations from the settlements side as well. And together, I think we are more strong and we are more powerful, more colorful, just representing the whole country.
Yeah, you agree?
I don't know if it's possible to go together, but because we are many cities, but I think if we organize the multi-level governance in the right way, we can listen the local authorities and understand their priorities, and then put together the needs and go to Brussels to represent the national needs. They can be various because our nation is very complicated. So, but I think another key to success is to respect the deadline, because the transition go very fast and we need to stay in the time to go in the right direction. Another thing is the cultural transition, because we need to involve citizens. And I think no one leave behind, obviously, but people have to understand the responsibility that we have and they have.
Can I say something? I think that she outlined something very, very important. We need to involve citizens, because this is also a shield for populism and for democracy.
But at the same time, we need to
understand, to make them understand why we are working for it, because sometimes we forgot it.
But you also said we need to be fast and respect deadlines. Inclusion takes time. Can we be fast and inclusive at the same time?
I may offer an idea. So I was just discussing with the deputy mayor of Lisbon, which is sitting here before the session started, and he resonates something that we in the mission board have been advocating for a long time. We in the cities, to make sure that we advance, we need to have this holistic perspective. And we have created an holistic perspective in the climate city contracts. So let's use them. So why, and the idea was to come up to the government and to say, well, if a city has already a climate city contract, it has a vision, it has a set of projects, it's a portfolio of projects, why isn't this a green way to finance them and then work with other institutions? I think we need to push for this across Europe, because we have the instrument, the mission has created it, the cities are engaged, and now it's just a matter to push it through the governments and across all the latitudes.
Many multilateral corporations come with money. The cities ask the national government or the region or Europe, do you have some money? Is this crucial? Is this a crucial fact? That's also a question to you. You can say, yes, money from the national government or the higher level is the key to success. You can say, it's not the key, but it makes things a bit smoother. You can say, no, it's not the key, other things are important. Or you might even say, no, if there's money involved, it makes everything more complicated. We shouldn't be doing this. So far, not everybody's saying it's the key, but it makes it smoother. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, we need the money. But I think we need much more. We need the money, of course, but the money without this holistic perspective and organization and strategy is not enough. So that's why I believe the people are saying it makes it smoother, because we need to have something else.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with this, I would say, opinion, but what I would like to highlight that the carbon neutrality is not purely environmental issue, but economic and competitive, this one as well. And I think this, especially one of the roles of the cities, to inform the citizens and involve the citizens, I would say, on this basis, because the citizens, as the mayor of Torino mentioned, they are absolutely interested in affordable energy price. They are absolutely in line with us whether the air is clean and so on. So we have a lot of common physical expectations at city level, at citizens level. So I would say, what I would highlight, this is especially important role for the cities.
Okay. We have to...
Can I add something?
Very short.
I think that this is key. I mean, to involve and to convince that climate neutrality or climate transition is key for productivity, to be more competitive, for this autonomy that Europe is also searching for. So I think that we have to involve and to convince not only citizens, but also private sector, investors, and there the governments and national governments and authorities are key because they can foster and they can align these resources. It's not only a question of money, it's a question of being smart, using this money and align these resources.
Okay, that's very... Tomorrow morning we're going to talk much more about mobilizing finances. We already have to wrap up, so I'm going to the last question to the audience and also... can we skip to the next slide? We could, of course, ask what can governments do for cities, but we thought let's reverse the question. If cities request help and support from regional and national authorities, what should they do to be able to be helped, to enable regional and national governments to help the cities? Can I each ask you in one sentence, what would be your key advice to each city here that says, I need the support from my government? What can they do to make it easier or make it for governments impossible to say no?
I think it's important for us to know their priorities, their needs, and to understand in a timeline which are the first to go ahead. I think for us, in our experience, understand their needs is a key success, because without listening without know them, for us it would be impossible to finance their plan. Okay. But I think it's important that cities involve the private sector, because public fund can be enough to go in the right direction. So I think at the end, the collaboration, the trust is the key word to go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Ribeiro.
Yeah, understanding each other. It's not only about them, it's also about us. So this fluent and this direct communication between us that allows us from the national government to understand better their needs, their obstacles, but also to find synergies between all of us. Because sometimes they don't understand why we do the things that we do. Sometimes we don't understand what are the needs. So this is the place, this is the mission, this is the place to understand each other.
Beautiful. Mr. Petterfy.
Yeah, as I told you, the green transition can have an economic and competitiveness, I would cite, effects as well. And a more energy efficient city is more attractive to investors, supports business operations, and improves quality life. And if the cities in a nation are, I would say, successful, what is the result? The nation itself will be successful. I think this is the good reason for convincing them.
Beautiful. Mr. Verhouw.
In one word, direction. So I think this is very important, because if cities provide direction, if the government leads with the direction, the private sector will trust. And do not forget that most of the investment that needs to be done is from the private sector. So for me, trustworthiness and needs direction.
Beautiful. That's some good advice. I hope it helps them make the collaboration between cities and region even more beautiful. A big round of applause for Stefano Crotta, Attila Petterfy, Elisa Riviera, and Paolo Verhouw. So it's almost time to get this conference officially started. After this moment, there will be a big program until tomorrow afternoon. There will be workshops if you want to be active. There, if you think, I'm going to sit back a bit more, look for the panels. In the app, you can find everything. The program, where to go. It's a big place, so look the app where you have to be. Make your own program, and also use the app for the matchmaking. Make sure that you have drank at least 3 espressos with another city that you haven't met before to get these synergies going. If you look for any help, the people with the red lanyards, they know everything. They can help you with everything. So use the app, use people with the lanyards for your program. And then to officially open our conference, let's first, before we do that, can we see what we have from our graphic note taker? Can we see the conclusions of this session? Oh, there's a lot. Trust and directions, cities at the center, and we have all hands on deck. Yeah, big round of applause for Coletta. And then finally, to officially open the 5th EU Cities Mission Conference, the European Commissioner for Startups, Research and Innovation, Ekaterina Saarieva.
Dear mayors, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to address the Cities Mission Annual Conference. Let me start by thanking you, the cities, for your commitment in driving this mission forward. You are leading Europe's climate transition, and your commitment is what makes the cities mission move forward. Your climate city contracts are turning ambition into action, positioning your cities as innovation hubs where urban transformation drives new solutions in energy, mobility, buildings, and governance. With Horizon Europe support, you test and scale innovative solutions. You are building an ecosystem where cities experiment, learn from each other, and replicate what works, helping more cities forward the path to climate neutrality. Climate city contracts have introduced a new framework for urban climate governance and investment planning. We are also supporting your ambition from a 2 billion lending envelope by the European Investment Bank to national funding and private investment through the Climate City Capital Hub. For example, in Parma, the hub is structuring the financing for a new bus rapid transit line, while the EIB is funding energy efficiency in cities like Thessaloniki. The city's mission is a perfect example of what innovation is about: local action supported by European cooperation, delivering tangible results for our citizens and our economy. I wish you an inspiring and productive conference. I now officially open the Cities Mission Annual Conference 2026.